I've fundraised well over 20 million euros in my career, and I've given out another 15 million euros or so in grants myself. I've probably read upwards of 1,000 funding proposals and hundreds of business plans in my time. And I know why you're not getting any funding, and I can guarantee you it's not for the reason you think it is. I think this is a really important issue, and we don't talk about this enough. My name's Adam. I'm a strategic coach for journalists and nonprofits. I've got my cup of tea, and in this video, I'm going to assume that you know the basics of fundraising. You know how to articulate your value, you know how to prove your impact, you've got a system for identifying opportunities, and you're pretty good at writing fundraising proposals, I suppose. I'm going to assume those basics are there, and that's what the majority of fundraising advice that you'll see relates to. But there's also a whole set of reasons that are not really talked about why foundations maybe don't give money to organizations that could be stopping you getting funding for your organization. It's a really competitive fundraising environment out there. I'm sure you know that. So hopefully there's some insights here that might help you get the funding that you need. One of the reasons why you might not be getting the funding that you need is that you do not understand your community as well as you think you do. You need to be the world expert on the community you serve. It's a harsh truth that funders don't care about your project. They care about the people that your project benefits. And you need to show them that you know more about their problems and more about the potential solutions to those problems than anyone else. You need to show them that you are the best vector into that community, the best way of them reaching them, and the best way of them addressing the core issues that they face. Many organizations just aren't able to evidence this through case studies, through data, through interviews, through a close and deep connection to the people they claim to represent. A key reason why you're not getting the funding that you think you should be getting, even though you think you're doing everything right, is that your business plan is no good. Funders have no greater fear than pulling out funding a project and seeing that project go under. They don't want to be left holding the baby. And if you do not show them how life after their grant looks, if you don't show them how you're going to diversify revenue streams and spread the risk of their investment, they are less likely to fund you. If your project proposal involves hiring more journalists or program staff or project managers, anyone who's delivering kind of content or programs or services, and doesn't show how you're going to hire fundraisers or financial planners or HR to help you hire these people, anything infrastructural that's going to support the growth and scale of the project, you're going to have a problem. This one is controversial, but I think the third reason why you might not be getting the funding you think you deserve is because you lack a visionary leader. Now, foundations might not be happy with me saying this, but I think most foundations are looking to invest in people rather than projects. It's like a VC looking at a startup. They might like the idea, but they understand that's going to pivot. And so they're funding the person who's leading that project. They're funding the team. I know plenty of great projects based on great ideas, but their leaders are somehow lacking in vision, maybe lacking in strategy, maybe just fundamentally unlikable. And with funding, as with politics, as with life, personality and vision means a lot. It's not an easy one to solve, but I think it's really worth looking internally at your organization and asking yourself, what does our team say about us? Do we have enough vision? Are we putting our best foot forward? If not, it might be time to think about bringing new people on board or changing the way you position the organization, or maybe even thinking just about increasing the skills and profile of some leaders in your team. And don't forget, foundations talk to one another. So if you've had a run-in with one foundation, chances are they'll talk to other foundations about it. So it's really important, no matter even if you don't want money from a certain foundation, to think about how you're engaging with them and to put your best foot forward at all times. The fourth reason why you might not be getting funding is that you do not understand what is going to kill you. A brilliant executive director once told me that the thing in an organization that makes it successful, that core part of its DNA, is also the thing that's going to kill it. They're two sides of the same coin, and your sole job as an executive director is to try and work out what that thing is and mitigate it as quickly as possible. So for instance, you might have an amazingly talented team, but the wage bill to pay for that team is ultimately going to kill your organization. You might have that visionary leader that a funder is looking for, but if you have no succession plan or a weak board around that leader, that might be the thing that's going to kill your organization. And if you don't show to a funder that you understand what that is and you've taken steps to mitigate against this, you're in trouble. Donors prefer to fund organizations that have equitable structures and really strong community relationships. And they love to see some kind of participatory decision making within inside that organization, that the community that you serve actually gets to decide on the activities you do, the services you provide, and there are really strong, robust and regular feedback loops between your organization and the community. And there are sometimes big problems with this as well, with inside teams where they're not really representative of the community they claim to represent. For instance, if you talk about media literacy programs for teenagers as being a core part of your work, and yet you don't have any young people on your board, and you have no way for those people to directly input into your decision making and program planning, then you're going to run into real issues with funders. So you need to take a look at how you make decisions inside the organizations, when and where the community that you serve are able to input into those decisions and steer you in the right direction and steer you towards understanding their problems in a more complete and complex way. All right, that's it for this week. Those are the reasons why I think you might not be getting funding, even if you're doing all of the basics right. Some of these things are easier to address than others. It's not easy to totally overhaul your board or put into place new governance structures, but some of them just require some more deep thinking about your organization and how you position yourself and your team. Hopefully this has been useful to you. It is a tough environment out there, and I don't want to come across as too negative, but maybe these are tips that can help you just slightly get ahead of the other people trying to get that funding. If you got something out of this video, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, tell your friends. I'm going to be doing more work on everything I know about fundraising and scaling an organization soon. If you like the music, that is my music. And if you want to know more about the basics of fundraising, I actually made a course on this, and you can find the link below for that. Thanks for watching. See you next week.